Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make a fantastic strawberry cake. Now, this is kind of my version of strawberry cake. It's not a strawberry shortcake. It's just something I came up with, and I've been getting lots of requests for strawberry cake lately, and I don't know exactly what that is because there's so many different variations of it, but this is kind of my version, and all it is really is a vanilla and orange scented like sponge cake, obviously, and then it's layered with strawberry preserves and fresh strawberries and whipped cream. It's really, really fantastic. So let's get started by showing you what you're going to need to make the recipe. You're going to need some all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, eggs, fresh strawberries, some unsalted butter at room temperature, baking powder, salt, whole milk, vanilla extract, orange, and you're of course going to need a couple extra ingredients to finish the recipe with, which is going to be strawberry preserves and heavy cream that we're going to whip up. Alright, first thing you're going to do, preheat your oven, 350, get that out of the way. Second thing you're going to do, take a 9-inch cake pan, spray it with nonstick cooking spray, and put some parchment paper at the bottom to ensure that it comes out and you don't have any problems sticking, which you shouldn't. And now we're going to get making the cake itself. Alright, in the bowl of an electric mixer, fit it with a pedal attachment. You're going to put in your unsalted room temperature butter, and it's very important that it's room temperature, otherwise it will not cream. You put that with the sugar, about 10 tablespoons of butter and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Close this up and let this just get nice and creamy. Butter and sugar are nice and creamy. Now before you add your next ingredient, whenever you're working with a standing mixer like this, you want to make sure you scrape down the sides of the bowl because sometimes, butter and stuff gets stuck and doesn't get incorporated really well at the sides. So put this back on after you scraped it. Add your 4 eggs in. You can add them in all at one time. Doesn't exactly matter. Let those go. Put in some vanilla extract. Wonderful. And now we're going to just, whoops, I can get this to close. Here we go. I'm just going to zest about, well, this is a pretty big orange, so I'll probably do 3/4 of this orange. I'm going to just zest it. While that's going, I'll just do it into a separate bowl. I've got my orange zest here. I'm just going to put it in my egg and butter sugar mixture. And while that incorporates, I'm just going to take my flour and my baking powder and my salt. Just mix that up just a bit. And I'm just going to start adding that in. Now I'm going to add half of the flour and half of the milk. And then again, half the flour and the remaining of the milk. So just a little at a time. That and half the milk. While that incorporates, stop it, scrape the sides of the bowl, because I just want to make sure everything is really nice and incorporated, because look, there's some dry ingredients at the sides, and I just want everything to be incorporated evenly. Back down, and now the remaining flour and the remaining milk. Okay, let that finish up. Meanwhile, I'm going to get my pan close to me. Here we go. Great, this is perfect. I don't want to overmix, otherwise I'll end up with really, really sort of bread consistency, and I don't want that. I want a cake. Nice flavored sponge cake. Here we go. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Perfect. Okay, just give it a good mix from the bottom, just to mix anything that hasn't had a chance to mix yet. Pop this into your pan. Just want to make sure everything's level so it bakes evenly. Okay, give it a nice tap to remove any air bubbles. Perfect, that's always a trick to getting rid of any air bubbles, whether you're making brownies, cakes, anything. Just give it a good tap and it kind of sinks. When it sinks, the air bubbles go away. Now this is going to go into preheated 350-degree oven for about half hour to 40 minutes. I mean, it depends. Just take a toothpick, insert it into the middle. If it comes out clean, you know it's done. After my cake baked, I let it cool for about an hour. You really want to make sure it's nice and cold. Otherwise, when we add in the whipped cream, it's just kind of melt and bleh. Don't want that. Okay, next ingredients you're going to need: strawberry preserves. You're gonna continue to use that orange. We're gonna use a little bit of the orange juice. And you're gonna need a cup of heavy cream that we're gonna get whipping up now so we can get nice stiff peaks. Get that all in there. Turn it on to high. Let that go till you get stiff peaks. Now, it's gonna be a little loud, but let's get working on our cake here. Now, I'm just gonna take off the parchment. Remember, this really ensures that it comes out nice without sticking. We're gonna have to cut this in half. Let me get rid of that. We're gonna have to cut this in half. Now, I apologize if it's not gonna be straight because I know it won't be. But you wanna make sure it's as straight as possible. Just cut it in half. Got that? Okay, now, don't worry about the crumbs. We're gonna clean that up. You can see the orange zest in there. It smells amazing. Okay, now we're gonna take some strawberry preserves, and I really like to use the ones that've got like the actual like chunky strawberries in there. I prefer to use that, but you can use whatever you want. Okay, and to thin this out a little bit, because it's really thick and I wanna kind of spread it out. Whoa, I almost lost my whisk. Just gonna use a little bit of the orange juice from the orange we zested. Just like that, probably about half of it. And just using a whisk, I'm just gonna whisk this until I got the orange juice incorporated with the preserves. That's perfect. Just wanna make sure I get every bit of it off. Come on. That's all right. Now I'm just gonna use my spoon. I'm just gonna put this at the bottom layer. And I'm gonna spread this evenly. Now I'm leaving like a ½ inch border because when I put the top on and I press it down, it's just gonna squeeze it completely out and then we'll have it completely filled. Otherwise, it'll drip everywhere. Now, with the fresh strawberries, we're gonna line them up. But to make it look really pretty, get your tips to stand out a little bit so that when we make our little sandwich out of this cake, you'll be able to see the peaks of the strawberries from the outside. So just place them so that the peaks are sticking out like that. We've got our strawberries all lined up there. Now we're gonna top it with our whipped cream. I like soft peaks. I don't like it to be too firm. Otherwise, I feel like it's got the consistency of whipped butter. Don't like that. You can really put as much or as little as you want. I like it to be really filled up with the whipped cream. And again, give it in a border because watch what's going to happen. When we put our top on, right, and we push it down, see, ta-da! Look at that. That is beautiful. I put a little too much whipped cream, but hey, I like it. This is the way I like it. So now the top doesn't really need anything just because there's so much going on in the filling. So I'm just going to sprinkle it with powdered sugar all over the top. And that's really about it. Maybe if you wanted to, you could put a couple pieces of strawberry. But doesn't really need anything else. Just needs to be eaten. And I plan on doing that right now. Just going to give myself a little plate, cut myself a slice, and eat it. Just gonna slice myself some. I really shouldn't be using a serrated knife for this. It's the wrong tool for the job, but it'll work. Yum, yum. You definitely don't have to put that much whipped cream on that. I mean, I probably shouldn't have, but you can do it as much or as little as you like. I like a lot. And that is the bomb. Whoa, so good. That sponge cake, the vanilla and the orange scent from the vanilla extract and the orange zest is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wow. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed spending time with me and I hope you see how easy this was to make. Now get on my website at www.laureninthekitchen.com, get the recipe, start baking. I'll see you next time. Bye.